Good morning. Here we are on Monday morning, up on this hillside. Chilly morning. Fall is in the air. Jan Akins, good morning. September 27th today, Monday morning. Welcome, everyone. Janisa, good morning. Let's see who else shows up on this Monday morning. We are in Proverbs 27 today. Yeah, it is a little chilly this morning. I added an extra layer just to adapt to the cool weather. Andrea Hauser, good morning. Steve, if you are there as well, welcome to you both. It's about 52 degrees, and as the winter, we get into the cold parts, 52 all of a sudden feel warm, right? There's my mom, good morning to you. Debbie King, good morning. Daryl and Suzanne, welcome to you this morning. Deanne Fine, good morning. Jim and Kathy Fuente, good morning to you. Welcome, everyone. The subject today, there were so many great proverbs in this chapter, Proverbs 27, and but the one that struck me was the very first verse. There's other great proverbs. Even the iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another is in this chapter. But I decided to dwell on and journal about, reflect on the first verse. Do not boast about tomorrow, for you do not know what a day may bring. So, wise counsel. So, what do the scriptures mean by this? What is this proverb? Let's just talk about it for a while. I think we understand it, but applying it is. Shows need, requires some wisdom. And so, because there are other verses in the Bible that say the exact opposite. So which one are we supposed to do, right? So we have a verse like this, don't be overconfident about the future because, it's uncertain. James would say all such boasting is evil. In fact, James chapter 4, if we go and read that, in fact, I'll pull up my journal because I wrote a few of other verses down for today. James chapter 4 says this, "Come now, you who say, today or tomorrow we will go into such and such a town and spend a year there and trade and make a profit." Then James quotes Proverbs 27:1. "Yet you do not know what tomorrow brings." So these proverbs have served generations, right? So even James is quoting it and applying it to the people of his day. Instead, James says, you ought to say, if the Lord wills, we will live and do this or that. So the idea here is that, and he'll say all such boasting is evil, so that overconfidence about the future is foolish. In the Proverbs, James says it's evil. We have to know that our future is in God's hands. We don't know what tomorrow brings. And I think about the rich fool, the parable of the rich fool that Jesus speaks, who one harvest, all of a sudden it's like 7 times more grain than he's ever had. And so he decides that I'm going to, instead of using this grain to buy and trade and do the normal things I'm going to do, I'm just going to keep it all this year, and I'm going to live off it. It'll keep me alive for lots of years. So I'm going to bring it all I'm going to tear down my barns, build bigger barns, and store it all. And Jesus said that man's a fool because that he didn't know it, but that very night he would die. He didn't know his days, how many he had. In fact, that's the argument that James writes as well. that our life is a vapor, our life is a shadow, it's a mist, it's here today, gone tomorrow. You don't know what tomorrow brings. So that's why we shouldn't boast as if we have control over the future. We just don't know what it brings. And so there's this idea of being overconfident about the future, and we see this too. That I'll give the other side. So then the Bible says, to avoid that, don't be overconfident about the future. You don't know what tomorrow brings. And it says, do not worry about the future, right? Jesus says this in Matthew chapter 6, in context of Sermon on the Mount. He says, do not worry about what tomorrow brings. What you're going to wear, what kind of food you're going to eat, and so on. He says, trust in the Lord. Set your mind on the kingdom first. All those things will be added to you. God takes care of you. You don't have to worry about tomorrow. So the uncertainty of the future, we shouldn't be overconfident about because we don't know what tomorrow brings. But we shouldn't worry about it either. The fact that we don't know what tomorrow brings, we shouldn't, on the other hand, just come up with all the what ifs. What if this happens? What if that happens? And it kind of can paralyze us from making decisions. And I think about the poem that Matthew read to us yesterday in worship. By the way, what a great message yesterday was. If you weren't able to be there, it's really worth a listen. If you go on Grace's website or our YouTube channel, you can listen to yesterday's message Pastor Matthew brought. Excellent. And one part of the message, he offered a poem. There was one line in that poem that says this: I come into peace of wild things who do not tax their lives with forethought of grief. The idea of the writer of this poem is, how, and really the biggest theme of Matthew's message was finding peace. How do we find peace in tumultuous times? And he offered a bunch of really great counsel from God's word in that. But in this poem, there's this one line about the poem writer who is seeking peaceful places, going out in creation and so on. And one of the observation the poem writer is observing is, the wild things, they don't know what tomorrow is bringing, but it doesn't seem to bother them. They're just doing what they need to do today. They're not taxing themselves with the forethought of grief. So we're not overconfident about the future because we don't know what the future brings, and we're not worrying about the future because we know the future is in God's hands. Both scenarios, the thrust is trust the Lord. Trust Him. If I had to choose between the two, I'm in a leadership position. And so any leadership position, you are thrust into making decisions that affect a lot of people with limited information. You can't tell the future. You gather as much information as you can. You have to make timely decisions. You can't just keep putting off decisions. That's not good leadership. But you're always making leadership decisions based upon limited information. So there's some risk, there is that thought. Is this the right decision? Will we, a year from now, regret this decision? But those kinds of thoughts can't paralyze you. You have to make those decisions, and it's this idea of trusting the Lord, that He knows the future. We don't. We're praying about this. We're using conventional wisdom. We're living a skillful life according to the Proverbs, right? And we're just making decisions today, not knowing. We can't predict the future. We don't have control over the future, but God does, and we're going to trust Him that whatever may come, He'll be right there with us, and we can find peace in that. But my personality is such that I err more on the cautious side, and so I tend to ask the what-if questions more than maybe the next person who feels confident about just moving forward with limited information and so on. And over the span of my life, that's really served me well. It hasn't held me back, but it's a fairly slow, steady pace forward. I've had fewer failures, but maybe I could have taken more risks in my life with regard to decisions and so on. But that's my personality. It's okay. But because that's true, I have to constantly be laying this part of my heart down to the Lord, and to say, I don't know the future, but I'm going to trust you. I'm not going to be overly anxious. I'm not going to worry about it, because I know you are in control. Lord, you love me, you are good. And even if that bad thing happens that I, am foreshadowing the potential of it, right? Sorry, I got distracted for a second. Texts are flashing on my screen, so what was I even saying? The limitations of my brain that's easily distracted. But moving forward and trusting the Lord with limited information, and I just have to lay that down constantly to the Lord and trust Him. It's a great exercise. So what do we do in the in-between, right? So you have, don't put overconfidence in the future because you don't know the future. Again, don't worry about the future. So what do you do? And if we just read the last couple verses of Proverbs 27, he tells us what to do. Last few verses, beginning in verse 23, this is the herdsman. Know well the condition of your flocks, and give attention to your herds. For riches do not last forever, nor does a crown endure to all generations. So he's saying, again, kind of talking about the future that we don't know. It's like some calamity could happen. So pay attention today to your flocks and herds. Make sure you're caring for them today. When the grass is gone and the new growth appears and the vegetation of the mountains is gathered, the lambs will provide your clothing and the goats the price of a field. So if you're taking care of what you have today, doing the work you know is right for today, there is some confidence that will carry you forward, that you'll have clothing for tomorrow, that you can work and buy a field, by the prosperity of your flock that you're paying attention to, that you're taking them up to the mountains in the summer for the summer grazing, and you're moving them back down to the lower lands in the winter. You're doing the work, you're putting the work in day in, day out. And he concludes, there will be enough goat's milk for your food, for the food of your household, the maintenance of your girls, and the people that you're caring for. It'll all work out. Put in the work today. So as it relates to the future, it's uncertain. Don't be overconfident. Don't worry. Do the work for today. The Bible tells us to plan for the future. That's another component we didn't cover. We're supposed to lay ahead for the future because we don't know have the certainty for it. But the thing is, the bottom line is, work today, trust God for tomorrow. Unless we be paralyzed by fear of tomorrow, we let that go and trust God. Lest we be overconfident about tomorrow, we have to guard ourselves against that so that we can trust God and move according to His Spirit today. Whatever may come tomorrow, I'm going to plan, I'm going to do the work, I'm going to put in my time for the future, but I entrust that future to God. So, how are you doing today? Are you more fall on the worrier side, or are you more fall on the overconfident side? Every personality is a little bit different. Trust in the Lord either way. Leave your future to Him and do the work today that you need to do. That's all that's required of us. So let's trust God together. Have a great day. We will see you tomorrow morning right back here.